Hello everybody and welcome back to the second episode in this series brought to you by Mawi'Art, where we explore the tools of the internet and how a computer can take you from here to here in your artistic career. And today we're going to be talking about effective communication tools such as Zoom and MS Teams and how you can host your own meetings, what you can do within a meeting, and all of the ins and outs of these platforms. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 2 today. Let's jump in. In 2020, we have seen a major rise in popularity in communication platforms because of the global pandemic we've all been experiencing. Zoom has become the leading edge communication platform, preferred by people that need it for business meetings, for education, to catch up with loved ones. Zoom has become kind of the way that we communicate with people as of now. So, is it important that you know how to use it as an artist? Yeah, definitely. If you want to host any type of event, a workshop, you want to talk to somebody who's interested in buying your work, and anybody that wants to put your work in their gallery, it's really, really important that you know how to use these tools so that you can even take initiative and set things up for yourself as an artist, create events, invite people to it, and show off your work in a time where we can't gather in person. So getting started, we're going to jump right into Zoom and go right to their website. You're going to find in Google, there's a link that says sign in for Zoom. So you click on that. And then it will ask you to sign in or sign up if you haven't used it before. So you can go up here to where it says sign up. It's free. Now, I won't go through this process because we already have an account here at Mawi'Art, but I can assure you that it's no more difficult than signing up for any other website or subscription or anything like that. So I'm going to sign in to our account quickly. Okay, so when you first sign into Zoom, you're going to come to a page that says Meetings. And the Meetings page is exactly what it sounds like. It's just showing you all of your different meetings that you have scheduled. Obviously, if you've never used Zoom before, then you don't have a meeting scheduled. So what you can do if you're looking to schedule a meeting right away is go up here to this corner where it says Schedule a Meeting. You can click on that. And then you can start filling out some information about your meeting. So we're going to call this demonstration meeting. And then down here you can write a description. So a meeting to demonstrate Zoom. There. Right below that you can see where you can schedule your Zoom meeting. So you can go ahead and click on this little calendar icon, and it will pop up all of the dates for this month, and you can go ahead and go to future months if you wish. But for today, we are going to schedule our meeting for right now, today, November 2nd, and we're going to pick 2 o'clock. And down here, you can put how long you think the meeting is going to last. You're going to pick a time zone so that people know what time they're supposed to join. And for us, that is Atlantic time. You can put down here if this is a recurring meeting, so if the meeting is going to happen more than once, you can start to schedule that meeting in. Say you wanted to have it weekly, bi-weekly, 2 times a week. You can figure all that out right here by hitting recurring meeting. So let's say I want to have it recurring weekly. So I want this meeting to occur every single Monday, every single week. We're going to have it repeat once a week on Mondays, and there you go. We're going to turn that off because that's not actually what we want for this particular demonstration. So the registration tab is right under the time zone tab. Right here you can select whether or not you want people to register for the meeting in order to get into the meeting. There is this interesting thing that has been happening with people using Zoom that have experienced Zoom bombs, where people who are not invited to the meeting come into the meeting and basically destroy what you're trying to do. And while I have never experienced this myself, I know that other people have, and especially when you're in a professional setting or you're pitching your artwork to somebody, you're not going to want that to happen. And so you can go ahead and click required registration so that when people want to join the meeting, you have to register them, and they can only become a part of the meeting if they registered. For your meeting ID, you can go ahead and let Zoom just generate that automatically for you. And over here under the security tab is passcode and waiting room. If you click passcode, you can actually put in your own passcode that people have to enter in order to get into the Zoom meeting. So they'll do the registration if you want them to be registered, but then they also have to enter in a passcode in order to get into Zoom. So we can go ahead and just call this Zoom. That will be our passcode, but it could easily be any password that you come up with. So right here we have the video and audio tab, and for us, since we're the host, we want our video to be on, and we would like our audio to come from the computer audio. However, when you have participants join, not everybody has the stable internet connection or the equipment to be able to record their voice via their computer. And so a lot of people actually dial in using a telephone in order to record their audio. So because of that, and the fact that you want to accommodate as many people as you can for your meeting, you're going to go ahead and just click both right here. And when you click both, that means that people can join and their audio will come through either their computer or with their telephone, and it will be up to them to decide what they want to use. And for video for a participant, we can turn that on or off. It just depends if you want your participants to have their video on or off when they join. Below that is the meeting options, so you can allow participants to join at any time. You can mute participants upon entry. You can make it so that the participants require authentication to join, and you can automatically record the meeting. You can also make other people hosts for your meeting so that they'll have host options within the Zoom meeting, and I'll show you a little bit more about that here in a minute. For now, we're going to go ahead and turn off all of these things since we don't have any actual participants joining. But one thing I will advise is that if you're going to have a meeting or presentation of some sort, I would go ahead and put on mute participants upon entry, because this way people will join and they won't disrupt you while you're talking. Okay. You're going to hit save after that, and Zoom will save your meeting, and it will give you a registration link down here, which is great. You can go ahead and send this to anybody that you want to be a part of your meeting, and they can go ahead and register for that meeting. And below that is just a list of information of options that you turned on and off. So this kind of gives you an overview of how your meeting is going to function. All right, so after you've checked out the overview of your Zoom meeting, you can go up here to the right-hand corner and go start this meeting whenever it's time to actually start the meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And once I do, you'll see that it'll bring you to this screen that says openzoom.us or zoom.us. So you're going to go ahead and do that. And because you've downloaded Zoom already, your computer will open up Zoom. So here we are. Now we are on Zoom for the first time. And you can see here that I'm in the studio. And you can see that there's lots of options running along the bottom. But basically, you are the host of this now live meeting. So to show you some basics right off the bat, down here on the bottom left is the mute button. So if you wanted to mute yourself and the audio would turn off, you could go ahead and click mute and it would do that for you. You can turn your video on and off by clicking this button, and you'll see that it's a picture of Sean because this is Sean's Zoom account that we're doing this on. But you can go ahead and stop the video, or you can turn it back on, so on and off. Over here is the security tab. So underneath the security tab, you have some options to choose how your participants can interact in the Zoom meeting. So you can allow participants to share their screen, to chat, rename themselves, unmute themselves. You can give them those sorts of privileges within the meeting. Above that, there's a button to lock the meeting or enable a waiting room. So this is basically when people are trying to join the meeting, you can lock it so nobody else can join, or you can enable a waiting room so that when people try to join, they land in this waiting room and then you can admit them in. Beside the security tab is the participants tab, which when you click, it will show you a list of all the participants in the meeting. If there were more people, they would all be kind of on that right-hand side column. You can click that to make it disappear. Beside that is the chat box. So here you can chat with everybody in the meeting or with people individually. So if you click on their name, you can send them a private message if you only want to address that one person. Beside that is the share screen button. And this is important if you're giving a demonstration on your computer or some sort of presentation, and you want to share your screen to show everybody what you're looking at. You would go ahead to share screen, and it would give you a list of things that you can share, which you would go ahead and select one of those things to share with the rest of the participants. So right now I am sharing my screen. So this is what my desktop looks like. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing that. You can also record the meeting. So if you are having a staff meeting and one of your staff members isn't there or wasn't able to make it because of something, you can go ahead and record the meeting so that they can watch it later. Or say this is an important event that you want to remember, you can record the event and watch it later or show other people who weren't able to make it. And beside the record button is the reactions button. And this is great because it's encouraging. When you're listening to people and you hear something that you like, you can go ahead under the reactions button and give them a clap, or you can give them a thumbs up. So those are all of the basics of the Zoom application. So whenever you're hosting your own meeting, you'll be able to do all of these functions. Whenever you're participating in another person's meeting, you'll also be able to do most of these functions, except for kind of the security control. When you're the host, you have the opportunity to choose how the meeting is going to play out. And when you're not, you can kind of just participate under the host's rules and regulations. So I'm going to go over here and hit end. When you're participating in a meeting, you can actually just leave the meeting and that won't end the meeting for the rest of the people. But if you're the host, you can go ahead and end the meeting for all people, and that will put an end to the meeting. So we can go ahead and do that. So that was how to use Zoom. And while Zoom is a very effective way to communicate nowadays, there are some limitations if you have the free version of Zoom. Let's go over some of the features that are on the free version of Zoom, but then also some of the features that are on the paid versions of Zoom, just to give you a better idea of what Zoom has to offer. So when you have the free version of Zoom, you can host up to 100 participants in your meeting. You get 40-minute maximum group meetings, so that's 3 or more people. You can only have 40 minutes per meeting. And you have unlimited time for one-on-one meetings. So if it was just you and I, we could talk for 24 hours straight if we wanted to. But if you have 3 or more people, you only have 40 minutes per meeting. Now, if you choose to go up and pay for Zoom, you have 3 different options: the Pro version, the Business version, and the Enterprise version. Considering that most of you are probably just artists and you probably work alone or maybe in a small team, the Pro version is probably the best bet. Now, it costs $200 Canadian and it renews itself annually, so you're paying $200 for the year. But I want you to consider the fact that when you buy Zoom, you're making an investment into your own artwork. If Zoom is going to allow you to connect with people on a more personal level and make you sell more work, get more opportunities, get your work into galleries, then this is obviously worth the investment. So to go over some of the features on the Pro account, you can host up to 100 participants, so same as the first one. You have unlimited group meetings, so the opposite of the free version, you can have meetings with 3 or more people for an unlimited amount of time. You can do social media streaming, so that's pretty cool. You can go onto your social media accounts and then stream via Zoom. And you get 1 gigabyte of cloud recording. So if you wanted to record your sessions, you can actually upload that to a cloud, which isn't on your computer. It's actually on a Zoom database, and you can take your recordings from there and it won't take up any space on your computer or your laptop. So that's pretty useful. 1 gigabyte isn't too much, but you can still absolutely put a lot of work into that. And while 1 gigabyte isn't a whole lot of cloud space, it's still a good amount of space for you to record the meetings that you choose to record. And for me personally, I've noticed I haven't had to record myself for my Zoom meetings a lot of the time, but that might be different for you. And so that's something to consider as well. But I will say that I strongly suggest considering the Pro version of Zoom so that you can basically be unlimited in how much time you have for your meetings. You can still host up to 100 people and you can be interactive through your social media, which is really, really cool for you as an artist. So if you want to learn more, you can go to zoom.com and look at the pricings. And so next up, just as an overview, I'm going to show you MS Teams. So if you have a Microsoft email account and you want to use a really effective communication platform, MS Teams might be the way to go for you. So you can scroll down and see a list of things that they offer. So they offer video conferencing, screen sharing, custom backgrounds, together mode where you basically sit in a shared background, making it feel like you're in the same room with everybody else. There's file sharing, apps and workflow, market availability, privacy and security. They basically have it all. And now this would be very similar to other platforms out there, but it's one that's very reputable and will help you achieve basically any form of communicating that you want to. In particular, file sharing is nice if you're sending pictures off to somebody that you want to submit photos to, say you're participating in an online gallery. There's video conferencing, which is basically what Zoom is. Screen sharing, another function that Zoom has. You can make custom backgrounds for yourself, so create the perfect virtual setting by choosing, uploading, or blurring your own background. There's market availability, so available in 53 languages and 181 markets. Connect across Windows, Mac, ISO, and Android. This will help you connect with other people for your artwork and to sell your artwork. You can chat, meet, call, and collaborate MS Teams is a very effective way to communicate and to keep up to date with projects for other people. Now, if you're somebody who's just working alone and you don't think that you need all of these features and you just want to kind of keep it simple, not so confusing for yourself, not to say that MS Teams is confusing, but if you just like the simplicity of things, I would suggest keeping it to Zoom, where you're just basically getting that video conference. You can do most of your other communication through email. This is more so if you're working with a team or a staff or anything like that. MS Teams can be very, very effective. And so that is the overview of MS Teams and Zoom. There are other communication platforms out there that work just as well, that are efficient in helping you get done what you need to get done. Zoom and MS Teams are a great one to start with, to look into, because they kind of cover all of the bases for you and what you would need in terms of services for your communication. We've taken a look at Zoom today. We've taken a look at MS Teams. As I said before, there are lots of other communication platforms out there. Skype, Basecamp, to name a few. Even Facebook Messenger is considered one. Instagram, social media platforms you're able to communicate on. Today, I wanted to really focus in on Zoom in particular and show you that it is an easy thing to set up for yourself, so you can take initiative and host meetings and contact people, really reaching out there as an artist and not limiting yourself in any way. And now that you have the know-how, you can start to do this for yourself. Guys, thank you so much for joining us in this second episode of this series, brought to you by Mawi'Art. My name is Nate Gaffney. It's a pleasure for me, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care.